is. That's right, the 4th of July, Independence Day, if you're from the USA. So how do you celebrate if you're an American living here in Scotland? We found two to ask them just that. Hadassah Hayes is originally from Alaska and now lives in Glasgow. And John Murchison is a Texan living in Edinburgh. Happy Independence Day to you both. Happy 4th of July. First of all, Hadassah, how would you normally celebrate the 4th of July back home?
So I come from a very small town. And so the whole town comes out and has a big block party. We have a barbecue, there's lots of like magic tricks and music. All the kids decorate their bikes with red, white and blue and have a little bike parade. And so just a time spent with friends and family. We always have fireworks. That's a like absolute.
And John, in Texas, how would you celebrate it? Presumably a bit like Alaska, only like 10 times as big.
I'd probably go to my dad's place. He has a place like a farm. I mean, he's got a lake out there. I was in the States last year, and we went out to his place, and we barbecued all afternoon. And then my brother and his friends, they brought some fireworks out, and they shot them over his lake, you know, and just hanging out with friends, you know, and grilling and stuff like that. That's really what I would do.
So, Hadassah, what are the plans for today? Slightly different, and I must apologise on behalf of my country for the weather, I suppose.
Well, the plan was to go on a hill walk. Probably, like, hang out with a few friends, play some games. Tonight, I'm meeting up with quite a few Americans. We're all having a barbecue. Well, that was the plan. So it might be, like, an indoor barbecue and apple pie and things like that. So.
Yeah, if you can hear a hammering noise in the background, we've started building an ark here. John, the thing that always gets me is when you look at Seattle, people in Seattle probably have more in common with people in Vancouver than they have with people in New Orleans. Or people in Detroit have got more in common with people in Windsor, Ontario, which is just across the river, than people in say, Texas, for example. What is it that Americans celebrate? What is it that keeps you together? Is it just the flag? Because there are huge areas of America that have got nothing in common with other areas of America, apart from possibly David Letterman, and he's retired.
I think, that's the good thing about the States is the diversity. I mean, and not to get into like a political discussion and see what's going on in the States. I mean, I think that's what the good thing about us is, and you know, we do, you know, we've evolved just like any country through, you know, the Revolutionary War, Civil War, and everything like that. But in the day, I think that's the good thing about it. But we all can come in one thing in common, and you know, we can use the flag and all that like that. So I mean, I like the fact that the state, you can go from one state to the next, and it's just totally different, you know.
And what about Alaska, Hadassah? I mean, for Pete's sake, as I know you or some Alaskans contemptuously refer to the rest of the USA, certainly the contiguous 48 states, as the lower 48. What do you have in common?
Well, that is true. I have to say I've called the lower 48 the lower 48. Well, I think Alaskans, we do see ourselves as quite a bit different. We have a different mindset and lifestyle and that sort of thing. But at the same time, like, I am not Canadian. I'm very much...
You said that with a note of relief, which I think may insult the old Canadian.
Well, I'm not from Canada. I'm from America, and even though we are so far removed from the other states, we still have a lot in common, and I think Americans kind of enjoy those differences. Like, you know, I'm very different from somebody from, you know, Florida or even Texas or New York, and I think we kind of enjoy those little differences.
And John, you gather around the flag. There's that intense patriotic feeling that in the UK has kind of dissipated in a way. How do you think it's stayed alive in the US? People really feeling quite emotional about flag and country.
I mean, it goes back to, I mean, you know, I guess the Revolutionary War. You know, just the flag was so integral part of it. You know, we just take great pride in it, which is really good. I really like that fact, and I wouldn't say that people don't do it as much here. I mean, I get a sense here, but we just, I mean, it is that Americana, it's that thing you know, everybody really likes. You know, we really get garnered behind the flag no matter what.
And Hadassah, do you kind of sometimes feel a bit homesick on a day like today?
Definitely. I think it's days like today that kind of bring it back to you. That
weather like this,
yeah, I know, I'm a long ways from home. But it definitely helps having like family around. So I'm married and my husband is from Dundee. So last 4th of July, I was in Dundee, not planning on celebrating. And my mother-in-law and my husband and my father-in-law went and made pecan pie and apple pie and went to an American store and they got like American sweets and drinks, and like you kind of focus on what you do have and like the Americans that are around you, and we're like, oh, this little group of Americans celebrating in Scotland and that sort of thing. So it definitely does make you a bit homesick, but you just focus on what you have around you.
John, do you get homesick?
Not really. I mean, my mom's over here and my stepdad are here for vacation, and you know, it's I'm thinking. I mean, I couldn't say any better than what she just said. You know, I mean, it's just I'd like to be home, but you know, my family's here, and if I could hang out with my American friends this afternoon and have some beers, that'll be great. But I think family's more important to me for today's like this on holidays, and you know.
Just one thing. I know we don't have much time. American beer. It's a bit on the weak side, isn't it? Compared to our proper beer.
I'll drink a Tennent's any day of the week. You know?
Oh, take an advertising